Now, if you want to talk about the industry putting someone on, let's talk about Mr. Kevin Hart, because Cat Williams had a lot to say about Kevin Hart in his
True.
interview, or
I
as
don't
I like
think
to
Katt
call
Williams
Mr.
is ever like
Industry
Kevin
Plant.
though.
You say what?
I don't think Kevin. I don't think Cat has ever liked Kevin at all.
But I
So
don't think Kevin Hart has ever liked Kevin either.
yeah, Cat.
Cat,
But yeah,
yeah, Kevin has never liked Cat, and as Cat said himself, he thinks I don't know if Kevin Hart's an industry plant, but literally, I promise you, I did not know who Kevin Hart was before Soul Plane. Actually, no, not even Soul Plane. I didn't even watch Soul Plane as a kid. I never really liked the show as a kid. Not show, but the
I saw
movie.
it once, and I was like, so this is like a Friday. The way I looked at it as like a Friday, not a rip off of Friday, but it was like, oh, so it's like a parody of. I always thought of it as a parody of another movie, but considering that it wasn't a parody of another movie, it was like okay. But even since I feel like 'cause you could easily argue that well we're saying all this stuff about Kevin now like being an industry well because Katt Williams said it, but no, think about it. Look at all the people who he had in that movie. For his first movie, he had Snoop Dogg in that movie. He had what the Hispanic girl that's been in every comedy movie like ever. Can't think of her name. I think it's Vanessa something. She was in that movie. Um, let me pull this up because I know
Ludacris
some of
was
the
in.
actors
Wasn't
in them.
Ludacris in the movie?
So playing?
Yeah,
I don't think so. Let's see.
yeah. How about we just fact check ourselves? Oh, I
Snoop
Twitter right
Dogg,
here.
Tom Method Man, Tom Arnold, Godfrey, D.L.
Oh,
Hughley, Sophie. Oh, it wasn't Vanessa, my bad. It was Sophie, Simone,
oh,
John
yeah,
Witherspoon.
yeah. Raven
Bro,
on
this
there.
is hmm?
Yeah, Raven. Simone.
No, not Raven Simone.
Oh,
Or I think it's some more. Yeah. But bro, he had Terry Crews on here. This is an all-star cast for this man's first movie.
first
He had Lil Jon on there. It's like, bro, he had Lala Anthony. Lala Anthony's Carmelo Anthony's wife. You know who Carmelo Anthony is. He was a basketball player that played for the Knicks. That was mostly famous for playing with the Knicks.
okay. Now,
So yeah,
Kevin Hart's
Jesus
entire
Christ.
argument for him having this big deal getting so
He also
clean,
had Monique.
yeah, Monique, and his argument for being
Christ.
able to have this big deal was the fact that he was already performing in his scene in his city, and that's cool and dandy and all, but you got Cat Williams not performing his first show until after years into the game. And then not even his first film being a blockbuster. It was not even a rinky dink film, but just a small film produced by one director by the name of Ice Cube. And
Yeah.
so for Kevin Hart to come into the game with all these different icons, all these different celebrities in his first film, it screams big money industry plan, or at least someone in the industry was backing this because it doesn't make any sense.
Have you ever heard of a show called Undeclared?
Undeclared, no.
Because that's where Kevin first got his first break on TV, and then he go from being an undeclared to another movie. Hold up, let me see, like, because I don't want to read this wrong. I don't wanna read this wrong.
Sorry,
Because
if you like.
I don't because I don't care if he's an industry plan or not. I just care if you're funny or not. And to me, Kevin Hart has not been funny for a long time. So,
He was funny. His old shit was funny.
oh yeah, most definitely. So okay, so he did a couple of stand up competitions, and all of a sudden now in 2001 he's on a show called Undeclared, and after
I
having a
wasn't even
recurring
born.
role on Undeclared, he appears in a movie. He in 2001. He's like some background character, right? A recurring background character. And all of a sudden, a year later, he's in a movie called Paper Soldiers. Then a year later, he's in Scary Movie 3. We all remember him from Scary Movie 3 in his in this background appearance
He
with.
was in Scary Movie 3.
And then all of a sudden he has his own, and after that, he all of a sudden he has his own solo movie.
Now, okay, so I ain't gonna take back what I said about Kevin Hart being. Actually, no, I'll take a little bit of it back because now that I'm thinking about it, I never realized how much Kevin Hart was actually in a lot of the stuff that I watched growing up. Kevin Hart is funny. I'm not saying he isn't funny, but for him to be in a blockbuster film, like I said, backed by a big company, backed by a big sister or a big brother, it just screams that somebody wanted him to succeed. There's no possible other answer but someone up up in the company wanted Kevin Hart to succeed because either they saw that they can make money off of him because like Kevin Hart said, when did Hollywood start liking a short, big nose, kind of bald looking. I can't say the word, but a bald looking man. Like like when has Hollywood liked this? Because we all know Hollywood usually goes for the chiseled, nice looking. If they black, they have to be toned. If they white, they have to look like Chris Pratt. And so it's just like Hollywood obviously is looking for certain stuff, and so it's just I just don't understand why Kevin Hart and just really why Kevin Hart hates Cat so much. I understand why Cat doesn't like Kevin Hart because he said it very well in an interview. He only likes people that works for what they gain.
Like, okay, you could argue that because Cat William went in on him being on Kevin being a hypocrite when Kevin said, "Oh, I'll never put him to dress because of boundaries," and all of a sudden Kevin's wearing a dress. Now it's not in the movie like Martin Lawrence and Big Mom, but he's on SNL wearing a dress. We're having to those boundaries. No, I was watching the Gilbert Arenas podcast, and he made a very solid argument for Cat and against Cat. Well, for Kevin and for Cat, you can argue. Well, okay, Kevin was given a nod. Someone in Hollywood did see that. Yeah, we can print money off this guy. We can make money off this guy for decades to come, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, we can get him to do the roles that Cat Williams probably don't want. Even though Cat Williams is the funnier comedian, the better actor, and everything. He could be the better actor. But if we can't get him to do what we want, we're gonna find someone else to do it, and that's probably what happened. I hate that it happened like that, but that's probably what happened. Now, the argument for Kevin with the dress situation, they like, okay, you have a brand you got to protect. You got people you got to protect, family, money, and stuff you got to put on the table. And at this point in Kevin's career, we're not talking about like kitty money, like play money, like a couple hundred grand, a couple hundred. No, we're talking about we're not even talking about like one. We're talking about like tens of millions of dollars, probably hundreds of
Cheers.
millions of dollars. Maybe not hundreds of million dollars, maybe like tens of millions of dollars. I'm not gonna act like 'cause I don't know if Kevin is a generational type of comedian. Like oh well,
No,
he's like on a
I think
like on the level of like Richard Pryor.
Adam Sandler would be more of a generational comedian than Kevin Hart.
I mean, you could argue. I mean, we can like do semantics and be like, well, he's white, so what do you expect? I'm not gonna do that. That's lame. That's really lame.
No,
I hate people that
Adam
do that.
Sandler's just funny.
True, but you know how the black community gets when it comes to stuff like this. Like we get butt hurt real easy, especially when it comes to comedy. Like I thought comedy was objective, but okay.
You, you're
Um,
saying objective and it's subjective.
Subjective. Get over it. You know what I meant. Subjective. I mean, competition is subjective, objective. We're not gonna have this argument. Whatever. Look, the point. He was like, okay, yo. They said, yo, yo. We, if you don't want to put on this dress for this one episode, we can make this brand disappear and that brand disappear. If we know for a fact that Dave Chappelle got screwed over $100 million from a contract where he made more money than the studios thought he would make, which made the contract invalid, which means that studio got to take that whole $100 million from Dave and then make that contract invalid. Why couldn't they do the same thing with Kevin Hart? If they didn't print off money for Kevin Hart, they didn't print off money from Kevin Hart for decades. So why can't they do the same thing? And the fact that Katt Williams know that this has happened, he knows that this has happened. He knows what this is in that third. But to Katt Williams, he's like, yo, bro, you was given every opportunity you have. You was protected every single chance you got. You was just protected. I wasn't. Dave wasn't. Patrice O'Neal wasn't. All these other comedians were not protected like you are. It was not given the opportunities like you were given. We are legendary comedians because of our stand up and what we stood for. We was not going to be put in the box and be told what to do. Now that comes at a price. You make less money, you get less opportunity, less roles. But if you're just that good, you're gonna get roles anyway. Now it may not be your own solo movies like Kevin Hart getting movies with The Rock and this person and that person constantly. But if you're that good, then hey, you still gonna make a lot of money. And I think that was Kevin Hart was I mean not Kevin Hart, I think that was Cat was trying to say. I think that's Cat's biggest argument against Kevin's like, yo, I did it the right way. And Kevin's like, that's cool that you did it the right way. I did it I did it the less quote unquote ethical way. I did it the less um I did it the most frowned upon way, but I still did it.
As as this generation would say, he sold him soul to the devil.
Probably did. But
Hey,
hey, I'm rich. My family's rich.
hey,
Generational money.
he in that
Hey,
bag. But all this